All right, welcome everybody back to another edition of Chairgatin. I'm your host, Rattlesnake, coming at you live once again from Austin, Texas. I am unfortunately still with my co-host, Dakota Drake. Dakota, who do we got as a guest today?
Oh, man, the legend, king of trucks himself, from the Garage Guy fam, Dale Tanhardt. Dale, tell us what you got, brother.
Man, I appreciate you guys having me on. You guys have a sick operation over here. Man, all I got right now is a delicious natural light Pilsner tall boy. It's got some dip in it. It's nice, beat up and rugged, just like yours truly.
All right, cheers. Let's get into it.
Hey, let's get it.
What's up? It's Chairgatin coming at you live.
Hello, come right in.
Rock flag and eagle. All right.
What up?
Here we are. Everything seems to be working. We got the comments rolling in, so I know it's working. The best podcast
Hey,
around.
what up, Jacob?
Around where? Around South Georgia? We probably are the best podcast there. I mean, to be fair. All right.
I like that little feature. Oh, this is legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
A rule that we have on this show is whenever I put a comment up on the screen, we have to take a drink.
Yeah, it's a comment for sip kind of type
Yep.
deal.
Oh, I need another beer. Golly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You should have. I hope you came prepared.
Probably, so.
I'll kill like a 6-pack in one fucking episode. It's dangerous.
By the end of it, we're like, hey, man, NASCAR.
Oh, yeah. By the end, we're rambling.
I don't know how much I can do tonight. I'm really gotta cleanse. Gotta stay cleansed and fresh for.
Yeah, you're probably still feeling a little Darlington.
That's true. So why don't we discuss this? Okay, you have joined the Garage Guy Fantasy team. I've been buddies with Chase for a while now. I think he came on my show like a year ago or something. So I've been keeping up with all that. I saw when you joined the team, really liked your content, and I feel like now you're kind of the stud of that team. Don't tell Chase. So why don't you discuss what y'all are up to right now? I see you're playing cornhole.
Yeah.
Is that the best way to describe it? You're playing cornhole.
Sure. Yeah. Chase did an excellent job. You know how marketable that guy is.
Yeah.
He's
Jesus.
done a phenomenal job.
Powerhouse.
With the Garage Guys brand, as has Chef. And I just sit here and drink beer and just look pretty for the camera, I guess. I don't know. But no, they've done an awesome job, and we've got a great deal with Inside Tailgating, who's hopped on board, and we've literally hopped on board in an RV, sponsored by the ACL, the American Cornhole League, and a few other partners, Duke Cannon. It's a crazy deal. I can't believe Chase pulled it off. I mean, his confidence level. And,
yeah, I can't either.
Insane. So we've got an awesome schedule ahead that started with Darlington last weekend, as you guys may have seen. I know he's in Pennsylvania right now, and I'll be meeting him in Dover tomorrow, late tomorrow night.
Big Daddy.
We go from Dover, I believe, to Circuit of the Americas, and then the Indy 500.
So you're going to be in Austin.
Yes, I plan on being in Austin.
So we're gonna be hanging out. I've already talked to Chase. We're meeting up. Yeah. So we'll definitely. I wasn't sure if you're gonna be attending. So are you? I know Chase. This is like what he does for a living now, like full time. So he is doing this gung ho. But you are still working. But you're going to be going to all these races with him as well.
Yeah,
damn.
Well, here's the deal. Look, we're young guys, okay, it's a can't miss opportunity. You know?
Yeah.
No, I don't blame you, dude.
I will go sleepless to have this opportunity provided, for us and for our brand.
Are you having to take off work for this at all, or are you just literally making it work? You're just like taking last second flights.
So, fun fact: I'm actually scared of flying. I haven't flown much in my life.
That is a fun fact. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, whatever. I'll drink to that too. Calm the nerves.
Is it when you're like in the airplane? Is it like taking off? Is there a specific thing?
I've only flown like 3 times, and my first 2 experiences weren't bad. And then the last one, I don't know what it was, but I just had incredible anxiety the whole time. And it was a smooth flight. So I don't know what it is. It's just a mental game. Like I don't have a problem with takeoff. I don't have a problem with landing. It's just,
is it the thought of nothing being under you? Just death underneath you? Just instant death.
Exactly. And I'm not scared of heights. You know, I've never been a guy that's scared of heights.
Interesting.
It's just the thought of like, boom, you could die like that. And I'm a big stats guy, so it's so irrational for me to think that way. Like I can't, it's such a contradiction to the way my brain is wired. Like I hate myself for that. So helicopters is where you got to worry. Right.
Well,
or private.
Well, only if you're a celebrity. Regular people don't die in helicopters. Celebrities die in helicopters. Athletes, celebrities. So you should be fine in a helicopter. I don't think you're famous enough yet.
No, not even close. No,
okay.
We're not so that's not even for discussion.
So you're actually flying out. Is Chase like actually on that RV going from race to race?
Chase is manning the RV from race to race.
I need to do some like documentation of him driving.
Yeah, what is going on?
He keeps just being like, hey, I'm out here now. I'm like,
that's pure content, man.
I want to see you drive this thing.
I know they got something cooking. Last week was experimental and extremely busy.
The video, you know the one. It was fucking class. I've watched it like 20 times. Just him doing that with the song. I was like, dude, that's perfect.
Yeah, so I was filming that, and he in the middle of the race, he was like, "Hey, just grab the camera or do this real quick." I was looking at him, and I was like, "What the fuck is he doing? This is so dumb." Like, well, I don't get it. And then like I look up on Twitter, like 3 hours later, and it's got like 300 retweets and 7,000 views, and I'm like, holy shit! And then I watched it, music, Sandstorm. I was like, all right, this is pretty good,
perfect.
So yeah, courtesy to me for filming that. I'll take the.
I'll go ahead and take the note.
So are y'all just like parking the RV in the campsite areas, like where people are partying and shit? Are you in the? I don't know how tracks are with infield right now, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as much involved in the negotiations with that, but I do know the people that we're kind of doing this for, the inside tailgating. They are picking out the spots. Now they did ask me for the Indy 500 because I go to the Indy 500 every single year. By the way, greatest sporting event on earth.
I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to check that one off.
As much as I is big on NASCAR, like NASCAR first, the Indy 500 is unprecedented in how phenomenal of an event it is. I go for a full week. That's my one every single year. But I gave some advice on where we could get the camper at for the Indy 500. Because like you said, it's cornhole. I mean, they're not. I don't know what their racing background is, how familiar they are with racing campgrounds compared to. I mean, you got
like football and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Which which is typical. NASCAR and racing is so unique. It offers such a unique package that I don't know. I just don't know how involved they have been. But at the end of the day, just to sum that up, we're going to try to get the best spots where we can have the biggest flow of traffic and opportunity to have adequate fan interaction. So
a lot of times too, that's not the infield. A lot of times that's out in the public campgrounds or something where people are parking.
Yeah, instead of paying a lot of money to get into the infield, like Indianapolis, I think is pretty expensive. But Indianapolis, you can go anywhere and have an unbelievable time. Same with Talladega. You can do that with Talladega too, but there's nothing like the Boulevard in Talladega.
I know. That's what I was going to bring up actually. All right. Well, that's cool. Everybody check out, do you have any handles or anything you want to shout out for where people can find you and your content? Yeah,
absolutely. First and foremost, yours truly, Dale Tanhardt on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Garage Guy Chase, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Chef Boyardeen, Twitter, Instagram. Don't think he's a big TikTok guy. But
that's one thing. We need to
either.
We need to get Chef Boyardeen on here, man. He's got the mad
scientist. I know.
He's the mad scientist of the bets, dude.
100%.
Yeah, he is.
But then obviously Garage Guys Fantasy Sports, we're on all platforms. And then Inside Tailgating for being such an awesome partner with us already. It's only been a couple weeks or so since we've thrown this together, but
well, I'm excited to meet up with y'all in Austin and see what is going on with this whole situation. Be prepared for me to be making content also, and then y'all can make content, and then we'll just be like videotaping each other making content.
100%.
I'm trying to get old Rattlesnake here to fly out for Nashville.
Shut up! I'm trying to get you to come to Austin, and you bail.
I can't. I gotta work.
Yeah. But, I don't want to hear it.
I'm supposed to meet up with. I'm gonna meet up with you guys at Nashville, and I'll take the second part of that torch.
Well, Nashville is something we'll definitely be talking about here in a second. But first, I wanted to talk about. This is actually something you wanted to talk about, Dakota. Let's not lie. This is something you text me. You want to discuss the future street races mixed with road courses.
Where do we start? I mean, so like they've been petitioning this Mexico City, Denver, Canada, whatever we want to talk about. Street coursing, Chicago maybe. I'm all for let's branch out and go new tracks. I didn't say street course. I don't think anybody freaking said street course. Okay, y'all want to entertain it? I like the Bristol Dirt Race we've talked about. I'll go along with it. Whatever. We'll see what happens. But if we're going to do a street course, let's pick one and do one. I don't want to sit here and go to all these street courses. We're already doing 7 road courses on the schedule. Are we going to do 7 road courses and a street course? Is that 8 road courses? Are we going to do 3 more street courses? Is that 10 road course races?
Yeah, because
how far is
it sounds like they don't want to just stop at one street course. I mean, they're throwing out so many options. Obviously, my opinion. I think that's a stupid fucking idea, and I hate it, and I don't like it. But that being said, they definitely aren't listening to my opinion when it comes to this. So they're going to do it regardless of what I think. I think it's going to end up terrible.
It's going to happen.
I think it's going to end up terrible. I've said also since they've rumored this, that even COTA, the racing at COTA is going to be bad. So we'll see what that's like in a couple weeks. I think street course is a bad idea.
I'll entertain the idea because I'm all about the growth of NASCAR. Now, so there's pros and cons to this. Okay, so I think the biggest pro that I know, obviously NASCAR is looking at this, is the growth. Penetrating a market like Denver would be huge. Mexico City, possibly. Chicago. I hate the Chicago idea because there's a perfectly good racetrack there that has always
Totally agree.
Now, the biggest con to me wouldn't be the possibility of bad racing because I've always loved road courses. Sonoma's gotten a little more stale over the years. Besides the Tony Stewart win against Dillon.
Dude, I hate the carousel. I'm not a carousel fan.
Yeah, I'm not either. I like the original.
I like the traditional layout. Yep.
Watkins Glen is incredible. It's a bucket list race that I would love to go to.
Oh, we'll get there.
The biggest con I see in this is that NASCAR, I think, loses some of its identity compared to the other premier auto racing sanction bodies.
That's exactly what I was going to mention. Yes.
Because obviously Formula One and IndyCar, Formula One 100%, obviously.
Right.
IndyCar is a mixed bag.
In between, right.
Road courses, if you look at their schedule. Well, I don't know. It's been changing, especially with COVID in 2020. I'm not exactly sure what their schedule looks like. I'd be lying if I did. But
IMSA, supercars, I mean, everything else. NASCAR's like the one racing league that like focuses specifically on ovals, short tracks, super speedways, just fucking turning left. And so that's been my thing the whole time.
And I love that. If we can just keep it, keep predominantly staying on ovals and a decent amount of road courses in there, I'm okay with it because I love road course racing. I think it's good for the future and expansion of NASCAR. I really actually do. I think that's I think a lot of people would think that's an unpopular opinion, but when you look at the interest that Formula One and IndyCar have and the growth that they're going through is actually a lot higher than what NASCAR is going through in growth right now. Now I think NASCAR is can we compare those two? Because the numbers are astronomically different, though. I mean, that's like me having like $10 and getting handed a $5 and saying like, "Wow, look at that growth," compared to a guy with $100 getting handed the $5 and saying like, "Well, he didn't grow that much." It's like, yeah, but that guy has $105. I mean, that's a good point. But NASCAR doesn't want to be Blockbuster. You see you can compare the idea of Netflix.
Yeah, but there's not a there. Is there a Netflix to NASCAR's Blockbuster? Because I think
I actually think IndyCar is, and if you look,
but IndyCar's a different car entirely. I mean, that's a different racing entirely. Like, there's no other stock car league.
The common sports fan doesn't see it that way, though. I think the common sports fan would see, hey, this is just racing. Obviously, big time, auto racing guys totally see different. You're open wheel versus stock car, but NASCAR is trying to do more to get the common sports fan in, and the common sports fan doesn't differentiate IndyCar from NASCAR or dirt cars or late models or street stocks. They really don't. And I have a lot of friends that have obtained interest into racing, a lot because of my bets and a lot of the money that I've won people.
Right.
Hell yeah.
And that's actually being completely honest. Like, as much as my Twitter brags, and as much as you see me brag in my videos, it's actually true, because people used to shit on me growing up for loving NASCAR. Being that one guy that loved NASCAR.
I think we've all been there, bro.
Yeah. Well, now a lot of those people are coming around because.
Didn't you grow up in Mississippi, though? This is my only.
How crazy is that? I know.
Yeah, I would think that's like one of the few places where it's like that's very common.
Right, like everybody should love NASCAR. No, I used to wonder watching. I'm just thinking, like, what good example? 2006, 2007, when probably the end of the boom of the 2000s, when everything was still full. I would look at TV and see just sold out crowds, like standing room only.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I would complain to my parents and be like, why did none of my friends like NASCAR? And 10 years later, I mean, it's become more apparent, I guess, because the popularity kind of waned into the teens. But the point is, NASCAR needs to reach the common sports fan, and the common sports fan doesn't differentiate series as much. So, I have people that tell me all the time, like, they think that IndyCar, Formula One is a lot cooler than NASCAR, and that is totally okay if they have that opinion.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie.
Go ahead.
We went to Waffle House on Sunday, and we were waiting in line, and I look over and I see this like probably 18-year-old looking kid, and he's watching his phone. I just like kind of glanced, and I seen like cars go by, and I was like, "What's he watching?" And he was literally live streaming the F1 race, and I was he was sitting there watching the F1 race, and I was like, "Dude, holy shit! Like, that's me with NASCAR."
I mean,
I was somehow missing a race, but I was like, he's watching F1. I've never seen an F1 fan in the wild in my life.
I mean, that's all fine and well, but like at the end of the day, you want like good product on the track. And I just think NASCAR hasn't been the best. I mean, let's not, obviously, I think that's the whole reason I have this fucking podcast, is to complain about NASCAR. But I would say NASCAR races are more entertaining than the F1 races.
Dude, I've tried to get an F1, and then I'm like, "Hey, when's the F1 race?" They're like, "It was at 7 this morning." And I'm
the fact that like other fans of other racing will joke about like, well, NASCAR only turns left. I'm like, yeah, and yet it's still more entertaining than your racing. Like, that's what blows my mind. And so, I mean, I don't think the just turning left thing is necessarily a bad thing. I think you can get way more entertaining racing just on an oval than you could on a road course, depending on the package, the track they're on, the talent in the cars. So
Dale, Rattlesnake's kind of the dark side, and I'm the good side to hear to defend NASCAR as he shits on it. I mean,
that's right.
Go back and forth, but dude, I love racing. Even through the teens, like I've never let up. I've grown more and more attached every year. Dillon has mercy.
Yeah, I agree. And so
how dare
I've
you
never.
Talk about Dale that way?
I'm not on the I'm not.
What is that?
Yeah,
Dale
Earnhardt
only has one road course win.
He only has one road course win. I'm not in the camp that NASCAR shouldn't have any road courses. I think it's okay to mix it up because some drivers are better at road courses. Like Dale dominates, but he isn't good at road courses. That's fine. But honestly, like, I know this is probably crazy. I think like 3 is enough. Like, that's all I would want. I would want like 3
to 5. I'm okay with.
Okay, 5. I would even be okay with that. But like, if we're talking about like 7, 9, like, I'm just like, dude, what are we doing?
You're about to cross some fucking lines.
I love 7. Anything. I think 10 is the max you can go because you still got 26 other races on ovals. I mean, you still have
but that's what it should be almost entirely. I mean, in my opinion, I think it should be almost entirely oval. I mean, we're talking about stock cars here. That's what NASCAR is built on.
Right, but stock cars, and just throughout history produced fun racing on road courses. I mean, Watkins Glen has had some of the greatest finishes you'll ever see.
I would say open wheel is more entertaining on a street or road course, just because they can take those turns tighter.
My thing is, let's stay going to road courses. The city course is where I'm like, okay, hold on a damn.
You know what's an interesting idea is the street race idea is what about just like not a city? What about through like if they do Colorado? What about through like the mountains or something crazy?
Shit.
Like F1 does, you know, how they'll like go along the beach and shit and go through like hills and like that would actually, I wouldn't be totally against that. Just
It'd
highways.
probably be easier to shut down those roads than a whole
right, exactly. It'd be super easy, and you don't have to go far outside a city. I mean, you know, like 30 minutes outside a city out into the country and some like pretty scenery. That might be fun.
One thing though, so like you going back, you mentioned earlier, one of you guys mentioned earlier about the concern about the quality of racing we'll see at Circuit of the Americas because of the potential for passing is my biggest concern.
Right.
Street courses. Like when they gave the layout for the Chicago street course, it just looks like ass, dude. Like it does not look cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my problem. One of the problems I have with Formula One is I'm just a traditional racing fan. Like I watch a good bit of Formula One. I always watch IndyCar. But my biggest concern with the street courses is lack of passing and it being like Formula One where the leader gets 44 seconds ahead. I mean, I don't love that.
Right. And that's my issue. That was my issue with COTA the entire time as well. I've been saying it the whole time. I don't think it's necessarily going to produce good NASCAR racing. I think I'm the only person that keeps saying that. Everybody else calls me crazy for it.
I don't think you're crazy for that. But I like I'll be an optimist about it because I typically like to be an optimist about NASCAR. It's hard to be an optimist, though.
Yeah, I don't. I like to be the opposite. But I will admit when I'm proven wrong. Dirt Bristol. I was proven wrong.
That one. Besides, well, the rain really, really made it embarrassing at first.
Right.
Racing, it was actually solid.
But also, yeah, the racing this entire season has so far been awesome. Like the season has been a lot of fun. And I went into this season very negative, doubting everything that NASCAR was doing.
It was rough at first.
I didn't. I felt good about it.
So I feel that, you know, we know the Marcus Ambrose, Brad Kay slider finish, crazy iconic race. We know the Tony Stewart bump and run on Hamlin at Sonoma. I feel like, you know, we have these one-off, really good, you know, road course finishes. They always highlight, almost kind of like Martinsville. They always show the Joey dump. It's like they're like, hey, we get these crazy finishes at road courses and these crazy banging races. Let's go to more road courses so we can get more of those. It's almost like they're trying to manufacture this crazy bump and run slide.
I mean, it's NASCAR. I could see them having that mindset.
I disagree. Yeah, okay, I do agree with the mindset. I think we need to be careful going down this road of manufacturing. Probably back in 2019, I started getting tired of the playoff format that they have. I like it. I don't hate it, but I think the original Chase was like the best playoff format ever. I loved it.
I think every NASCAR fan tends to agree.
I love the playoff format.
See, and I don't hate
it. Do you prefer the playoff? You know, we're not going to get
into
could just
keep
going a whole nother topic.
We could keep going down these doors.
It's a whole nother topic.
I love the Final Four winner take all. That's really where I'm at. I love the winner take all.
That's fine. Yeah, okay.
But I do believe that since this happened in 2014, I do think it diminishes the quality of a championship. I really do, compared to Formula One.
I kind of see where you're coming from.
But the excitement level is fine, and that's what I mean. People who aren't big racing fans, that's what they want. That's what they're looking for is the excitement level. Are gonna kind of hate that. Which
that's why they put stages in. That's why they want all these restarts, cautions.
I love stage racing as well. Well, as a fan that sat there and watched Jeremy Johnson go to Homestead with like a 67-point lead, and all he had to do was finish 31st or better so many years in a row. Like I got so tired of that. Even in the chase format, it was like, well, why are we even watching this shit?
I don't hate stages either. I've been on the record saying that. I don't mind stages.
A lot of racing. I went to Atlanta and watched 297 green flag laps. So I was all for some like stage breaks.
Yeah, see, I'm traditional where I like at Darlington, I was up in the front row, and I think a lot of people.
Oof. I hope you kept your mouth closed. You got rubber in the teeth.
Oh, I love that shit, dude.
Yeah, Darlington is fucking. You get it right there.
Yeah. And from that bottom row, that's the first time I've been to Darlington. From the bottom row, you can see the whole track. Like I love it. I don't even need to be up high. I can see just about everything.
It's like going to a fair. I mean, it's like going to a local dirt, local track.
The low stands right there at Darlington, you're like a lot closer than some other tracks.
Right.
Like, you're freaking close as shit to the fence.
Yeah.
And then y'all's videos of the burnouts and stuff, man. Y'all are right there. It's so awesome.
We'll hold off on this talk because we are going to get into this. All right. Let's move on to the next one because we can go down a rabbit hole for.
We got a lot of good topics. A lot of diehards here.
On and on and on.
What we do need to discuss is Nashville, the possibility of Nashville Fairgrounds. I've been very, once again, pessimistic about the whole thing. Everyone else seems to think it's definitely going to happen. They're probably right. I'm just pessimistic about everything. But there was the community engagement meeting, which was incredible. I mean, when you get to hear local people, voice their opinions, it reminds you how stupid local people are. Like, you're like, oh shit, that's the average person.
Non-race car fans in general.
Just average people. It makes you feel better about yourself. You're like, okay, I'm doing pretty good in life when I hear average people talk.
Zoomy, round.
So we had some really good stuff, but we had the Richard Petty of Karens come up and voice her opinion. And she was incredible. I mean, it's just a meme factory from this woman, from her accent to talking about, waking up from a nightmare to her dog's PTSD.
Shit in the floor.
Yeah, it was incredible. I loved every minute of it. So I actually wrote down kind of all the points that she made so we can discuss those real quick.
The
so
people
number one,
clapping in the background really did it for me.
When she's just saying the most absurd thing.
And they're like, yes.
I don't listen to Alex Jones, but whatever Alex Jones says on his show is probably more accurate than what this lady was saying. I mean, she was just saying Alex Jones saying the frogs are gay. This lady was like, no, frogs are aliens. They don't even have and people were just loving it. And it blew my mind. So I wrote down all of her points. Let's discuss them. Number one, she says, when NASCAR runs races there, her windows vibrate and she has to turn her volume up to 10 just to drown out the sound, and it doesn't work, and it scares her dog. And she wakes up from a living nightmare. So I guess the first thing I wanted to point out with this point is NASCAR doesn't run races there.
That was the first thing I was thinking of.
So I'm not sure what's going on. I just
think race cars are NASCAR.
Right. It was.
Yeah, I'm sure they have street stocks and little local stuff that races there.
So I'm guessing
late models and stuff.
I'm guessing she's just referring to NASCAR as in a race car, right? That has to be
person that calls all racing things NASCAR. Yes.
Or even better, when they call a type of car a NASCAR. That's my favorite. I mean, every NASCAR fan, I think, loves that. Loves when we hear that.
A NASCAR is not a thing. It is not NASCAR is a thing.
Yeah. No, when I was in high school, I used to play the NFL. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Number two. Point number two is this is probably the best one, by the way. There are 5 perfectly operational F1 and NASCAR tracks within 20 to 30 minutes of Nashville. That's what she said. 5 perfectly operational F1 tracks and NASCAR tracks within 20 to 30 minutes of the city of Nashville. Somebody actually went on and changed Wikipedia to say most F1 tracks and NASCAR tracks in the entire world or something. It was fucking hilarious. They changed it for Nashville, Tennessee on Wikipedia. That was probably the best one.
dude.
I kind of feel bad for this girl, honestly. It's just
Did you see where people were like the Grand Prix of Murfreesboro or whatever? Yeah, I was there too, man. It was crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first one, as Dale pointed out, is like maybe she's mistaken. Like she's just calling race cars NASCARs. This one,
generalizing, yeah.
did she just pull this out of her ass? Like completely made this up? I don't know. Is she referring to just?
I would hate
track?
to serve this woman at a restaurant. I feel bad for any server who's ever dealt with this lady.
So it's either, I mean, you're just either very, 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 very poorly misguided, or you're just lying. And I just don't see how you could be
just go up and lie.
I just think she's ignorant. I just think she's ignorant.
I think she's just a liar, and I hate that. But I mean, I don't see how you could be that misguided.
I think she got up there, and you can hear it in her voice when it starts shaking a little bit, like she's about to cry. She gets all emotional. She calls it offensive, which is just great. I love when people call things offensive. It makes it so much better. A NASCAR race is offensive, by the way, which is fucking insane. She got all into herself. She got kind of hyped up, and I think she just started throwing out made up facts just to kind of get the people going. She's like, there are 5. Count them.
That's the biggest thing that you notice about. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Okay. So the biggest thing I took away from some of that, before we started talking, or before we started recording, I said this. I could not watch her talk. I watched like 5 seconds of it, and like her face just made me so mad that I just read.
Karen, yeah.
And the biggest thing when I was reading all the comments, honestly, shout out to Matt Weaver on Twitter.
Yes, big time shout out to Matt Weaver.
He went off.
Loved it.
He did an excellent job portraying this to the public, and I don't know where I would have seen it without him. The people that came up there to talk about or for the opposition against the racetrack were so emotionally charged compared to everybody else that came up there in favor of the track were pretty rational. Or just pretty radical.
Or people in the middle. They're just like have a question. They're like, how is traffic going to work? What's it? You know, that's fine.
There was one guy that I think was not in favor, and he was just curious about how the infrastructure was going to work. He was pretty, he was pretty
super,
chill.
super productive thing to ask.
Well, even the lady she mentioned, she said, "This is a great community. Our neighborhood,
hold on, I'm getting into this. Hold on, okay. I'm not done with the points. I get to that one as well. So number 3 is no other city in the United States has a NASCAR track or F1 track in a residential area. Which, to be fair, I think she's right. I mean,
did you see that screenshot of Indy? Whoever posted it, shout out to them. They did a screenshot of Indianapolis in the fucking middle of a neighborhood, like 2 neighborhoods.
The Indy 500 is held like in a neighborhood.
It's like all neighborhood. I don't know. I've never been there, but it's like all neighborhoods around it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you. All the way around the track, there are actually houses that are literally so close to it.
You know what? Darlington's surrounded by houses. Actually, what am I fucking talking about? Yeah.
Is it?
Hell, Talladega, where we
Darlington, right across the street was all those houses.
We passed all them houses going to Talladega.
Come on. Talladega is not a residential area. That's out in the fucking country, dude. That is the worst example.
So is Darlington. Darlington's way down the fucking
No,
highway.
It's not. Darlington is across the street from houses. A neighborhood is right across the street.
Oh, my Lord. If you're saying...
I didn't notice it, but I've only been there that once.
Maybe y'all went in on the other side because literally I have paid a person to park in their yard and walked right across the street to the track.
Oh, Lord.
There's a neighborhood right across the street.
Well, I can't dispute that. Yeah, I don't know.
So my point to this, though, was like, okay, you know, it's not very common. It's not very common to have NASCAR tracks in a residential area. But NASCAR is promoting this idea of literally creating a fucking street course through cities. So that kind of
it defeats
very
everything.
Counterintuitive, of her whole argument about this. Number 4 is that the race will destroy the neighborhood, which she said is offensive. I'm not sure how it'll destroy the neighborhood. That's fine. But number 5 is that she's worried that the race will decrease property value, which, you know, maybe a fair point if somebody came up and they're like, hey, I'm just concerned about my property value here, like with the noise, yada, yada, yada. But the funniest thing is she also mentioned that she rents an apartment. So I'm not, why is she even there, like talking? So at the end, all of it was pointless. She rents an apartment. It means nothing.
Null and void.
She is not a property owner in the area. Like, fuck off.
Are you even from here, lady?
No, she had a weird accent. She had a weird accent. She was not
even
from
go here. She was from like 5 towns over.
The track was built in 1904, and she chose to move next to it. And all those other people complaining chose to move next to it. And there's been racing that's been happening there. And they had, like, where were the complaints before?
Here's your fucking sign.
Yeah, well, I read something on the Dale Jr. download. I hadn't seen it. But Dale Jr. supposedly has an argument that states that this will actually make it better for the people who live around there.
I listened to it yesterday.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. He was saying that if NASCAR takes over, Nashville Fairgrounds, that they'll delegate, when people practice, when people can go to the track, when there's races, airport when yep, and when people, when there's action on the track. So essentially, there'd be less race cars on the track throughout the year. So there'd be less noise.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought he meant by that. So yeah. I mean, yeah. I just, the opposition is just not. There's just not enough basis to.
It's so bad. Yeah, I think just the way to end the entire argument for anybody, they can have their concerns, but the way to end the entire argument is you bought a fucking house next to a racetrack. I mean, I don't know what else you expect.
10 years. It's been over 116 years.
Right. Like, what did you expect was gonna fucking happen? I don't know. I just think at that point, like, fuck you. You don't have a voice anymore. We don't care.
The old lady that sued McDonald's for her coffee being hot. The old lady that burned her hand and sued McDonald's.
I think it's worse.
Technically,
I think it's worse. I mean, honestly, because you can actually get burnt. And, like, yeah, you should know fucking coffee's hot. I'm not agreeing with her at all. I'm just saying, like, you could actually get injured with what? It's just the noise that you don't like. I mean, it's just it's insane. It's insane.
It's emotionally charged. Is the way I saw the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean,
emotionally charged versus reality.
I said on Twitter, I think that showed me for the first time in my life that, like, maybe democracy is not a good idea, and we need a dictator to just tell those people to shut the fuck up. Their voice doesn't matter. Fuck you. So yeah, that's Nashville. Like I said, I'm not sure if I think it's ever going to happen. Everybody else seems to think, like, Dakota.
You get Dale Jr. in the mix. I mean, things are going to start.
Dale Jr. hasn't even stepped up. I mean, is he going to have a cup team? Is he going to fix North Wilkesboro? I mean, look, I love Dale Jr. as much as the next guy, but, like, come on, he was all in on North Wilkesboro, and now I don't hear anything about it.
20 people is pissed, and, like, the rest of your whole fan base wants to go there. I don't think they'd be talking about it if it wasn't really going to happen.
I think
that's fair. That's fair.
The Nashville market is exploding right now
they already have a track in Nashville that we're racing at this year. So my point was, like,
that's the point.
We're in Nashville now. So at this point, it's just like you're fighting an uphill battle, even though you're already kind of on the hill. Like, you don't need to go any further. Obviously, the fairgrounds will be dope. Which, by the way,
it'll sell out.
Nashville calls itself a super speedway.
Ooh, you mean Nashville Motor Speedway?
Nashville Intermediate Speedway?
Intermediate Speedway?
What is it? I think it's 1.36.
Yeah.
It's kind of a strange track.
But you can't call yourself a super speedway. I mean, that should be illegal.
No, have you been there?
No, I haven't. But I mean,
haven't either.
I'm young enough to remember that one crazy Busch race from 2004 where Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer, and Kevin Harvick maybe all wrecked, and Michael Waltrip won it.
Yeah,
that was an awesome race. I remember watching that one live.
Then, Kevin used to kick ass there, man. I remember them old Busch races. I always liked the track, but I have no idea why it's called Super Speedway.
Right, that's my point. Is I just don't. I think that's crazy that you can call yourself a Super Speedway.
I'm concerned about the quality of racing there, 100%, because the stock stock cars race so much differently than they did. They're so much bulkier.
It's
than they were.
concrete as well. It's concrete as well. It's kind of
Ooh.
weird. It's a concrete.
Yeah, that I forgot. That
1.3
is the
mile.
one weird thing. Yeah.
I'm
It's
excited.
like,
I love new
yeah.
stuff. So I'm
Well,
That's the
and
thing. That's
it's
the
a
one
new,
that
it's a new track for Cup.
that's the one that I'm not like so negative on because it's a stock car track. I mean, that's what, it might be bad, but I'm willing to give it a shot and I hope it's good. And if it is good, then fuck it. Let's go.
I just think they're going to do, I'm trying to, I feel like they might have issues with multiple lanes. I think there's issues with multiple lanes because it's really
I think
flat.
it's gonna be a bottom feeder race the whole time.
Yeah, it's such a flat, oddly banked racetrack, like you said, with concrete. So I don't know how it's going to race, but I think I agree. I think it'll be bottom feeder.
I'm just all about like the Cup Series. There's this racetrack just sitting in Nashville, and they're like, "Hey, let's go race there." Like, we're already trying to get in there. They're probing into Nashville, but it's like, "Hey, there's a track just sitting there that we could put money into. Let's go." Rockingham or like any of these other tracks.
North Wilkesboro dirt. Let's go.
Oh.
Dude, Rockingham was phenomenal. I just can't.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that they left Rockingham.
It's still sitting there.
Like I said, I drove past it not too long ago, and I mean the facilities look good. They're still using it, as a track. I didn't go inside, so I don't know. I've heard different things, but they still run cars there and use it as an active track.
I'd rather them revamp that than go to a city course.
Yes, 100%.
Take that money.
I think that's what I think we're seeing both sides of this. Where we're expanding to the idea of street courses and more road courses, but we're also exploring bringing more short tracks back.
Mm-hmm.
So they're applying the best of both worlds, which is great. Appealing. Everybody.
Like I said, we need a dictator, and I will elect myself as the dictator. And by the way, since I'm the dictator, only one vote counts, so I just won the election. So if I'm the dictator, I'm just leaving Bristol alone, bringing North Wilkesboro back as the dirt race instead of the Bristol dirt.
I would be okay with that.
Sure.
Hey, don't forget Auto Club Revamp. They're tearing it down and turning it into a West Coast short track.
Yeah, that's a good point. I totally forgot about that. That one, I don't know how to feel about that one.
I know. I'm like, dude, why are you doing Auto Club like that? Well, there's other tracks we could do that to. Technically.
Yeah.
But like, I'm also like, okay, a new short track. I'm also with it.
Right. That's my thing is I'm like, fuck it. Let's go. Like that's another short track. I like that they're mixing things up a lot,
building a completely new racetrack. I'm kind of like, that's badass.
Although I'm super negative about pretty much everything, I do at the end of the day, they have shown me this season that maybe they're getting lucky, but they are doing fairly well. So, I'm kind of excited.
You just need to change the 1.5 mile package, and I think just about everything could fall into line being almost perfect. I really do.
I agree with you there.
I think the road course package is great. I think the super speedway package is great. I guess they're going to tweak it a little bit.
We'll never get away from cars going backwards. I don't know why they even fathom this idea.
I agree because the runs that they generate at Daytona, Talladega, it produces so much excitement. God, it produces so much excitement. I think it's the best super speedway package.
The last couple of years, I've been we've seen some of the best super speedway races, and even years before that, and back in the thousands, in the good old junior days, it was great. Cars flipped 40 years ago. I don't know why we're acting like this is a new thing and dangerous and unsafe. Maybe it's culture, maybe it's sensitivity, but it's like, dude, Rusty Wallace, Ricky Rudd, taping the eyes and shit. Cars flipped this whole time. Why are we?
That's kind of what made it fun. It's knowing how dangerous it was.
Look, I don't want to sound insensitive, but I love seeing a car get updrafted. I think it's fucking sick.
We lived through the era of UFC, which almost destroyed the industry of boxing. Why? Because it's so much more brutal. They beat the fuck out of each other. They go to the ground. They kick and stomp and throw elbows. It's more brutal. Let's be honest. Let's not try to sugarcoat it. It's like fucking gladiators getting in there, beating each other.
I used to try to keep count how many races in a row at Dega or Daytona I went to in a car flip. Very rarely at Daytona, but Talladega, I was like, hey, at least we got to see a car flip, or car went airborne today. That was kind of cool.
The fact that it is dangerous makes it more entertaining.
But
and let's
I
stop
know it's
trying
like
to bullshit.
it's dangerous and guys can get hurt. I don't want no one to get hurt, but it's like,
Right,
dude,
of course.
it's fucking sick. It's
I
like
don't
an
want
anomaly.
anybody to get hurt, but the fact that there is danger in it does make it cooler, and it makes those dudes seem cooler.
It is human nature to love the thrill of knowing there's a possibility of someone dying, and it's not that you choose to. I think it's just inherent in human beings. Honestly, why do you said gladiators? Why do you think this whole concept of danger has gone through just all of time?
And it's not like we want to see these drivers get hurt, but if anything, it makes you respect the drivers more because you're like, dude, they're getting into that car knowing like they might not get out. You know, like that was badass.
Oh, the rabbit holes we go down.
And we
can do a whole nother episode.
And speaking of Talladega, let's do our top 5 favorite races to attend. And this is just races. This is not tracks. So you can have multiple at the same track. It's just favorite races. Who wants to start it off? We're going to go 5 up to your number 1. Dale, do you want to start off since you're our guest?
Yeah, I'll take it. And I haven't, and this could be a surprise to you guys and a lot of people watching. I actually haven't been to a lot of different racetracks throughout my life.
This cornhole thing's perfect for y'all then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm a little jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm super jealous. Me and Dakota have been texting each other. Fucking, we're jealous. We're like a little fucking teenage
sick.
girls.
It's fucking sick, dude.
We will meet up in Coda and have a blast. So, and hopefully Nashville as well.
Hell yeah.
And wherever else. I think I'll be in Fort Worth as well for the All-Star race.
Are you coming to Atlanta race?
Yes.
With
Trace?
Yeah. Boy, we gonna do it big.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Dale, start at your number
races.
5 and then go up to 1.
I would say number 5 would probably be Daytona, which it was 4th of July growing up and until like last year, 2 years ago. Probably Daytona, 4th of July, number 5. I will say the one thing about Daytona 4th of July that is not fun, and that wasn't fun growing up going down there, was standing room only in the heat of July was pretty miserable. If you're not a diehard race fan, it sucked, dude. It was so fucking hot. Like, I can't describe how hot it was. Like, we brought our whole family down there, and everybody.
What year are we talking?
2004 to 2007.
2004 was my first July Daytona race. I may have been there.
2006 was the one where we brought our whole family. Tony Stewart won. I hated Tony Stewart as a kid.
That was the first one. Was that when he climbed the fence?
Yes.
Yeah. Me and my dad were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won. I think he won. Yeah, he won 05 there as well. But
yeah,
in 06, Gordon, my 2 favorite drivers growing up were Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon. They both crashed in like the last few laps, and I was so pissed. So I'd say that would be number 5. I'll put Darlington at number 4 just from that experience. And I know our experience would be a little different from maybe the casual one, just because we had just the setup was really, really nice and everything. But just for the quality of how surprised I was sitting front row and being able to catch all the action. I loved it. I like
that one because that's your most recent memory and you're throwing it in there.
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, I hadn't been to a lot of different racetracks. I think the one that I would leave out here, or one of the couple, would be Atlanta, which I love Atlanta. It has great racing. I saw one of the last IROC races there as a kid, and a crazy truck race there. So I appreciate Atlanta a lot. Number 3, I'd have to go with. This is where it gets tough. I know what my number 1.
So Atlanta was your honorable mention, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair. Number 3, I got to go with Bristol because it's the greatest place to watch a race on planet Earth. I don't know about the party atmosphere. I hadn't been there since I was 17, I think, and I went with my dad. So I don't know what the party atmosphere, the camping atmosphere is like. I assume it's pretty fun, like most NASCAR tracks, but it is. I don't know if you guys have been to Bristol. It's a bucket list race, dude. I mean, it's just a massive bowl.
Well, next week we're doing our bucket list tracks or bucket list races. So
Bristol's not one of them, man. A Bristol night race in particular.
Right.
Oh, it is great. It is so awesome. And then number 2, I'm going to go with Talladega Fall because I think that kind of speaks for itself. Well, I guess for people who haven't been to Talladega, you hear about it all the time. The partying is top notch. It's so much fun. Watching a race there is not my favorite thing, I will say. But because of the campground life for the weekend, incredible. And number 1, easy, is the Indianapolis 500. I know we're not talking NASCAR, but
what a wild shot.
The highest attendance one-day sporting event on earth is the Indianapolis 500. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. The highest attended one-day sporting event on earth is the Indianapolis 500.
And that's all the attendance. And that's all the attendance IndyCar gets all year.
Yes.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. It's the one it's the only one I watch.
It's the only one I watch.
I watch it. I watch it, and I'm like, I'm gonna pick a car and root for him.
Yep, exactly. Same.
I'm pretty familiar with the drivers and everything, but no, the Indy 500 is the ultimate bucket list for a race in the United States. I mean, it is. This year's gonna be a little weird because I would expect about 200,000 people to be in the area, but dude, on a full capacity year, we're talking 500,000 people in the area, like just packed in. I mean, it is just electric. It is so much fun. I just can't even understate or overstate it enough. So hope I didn't go too long on there, but
no,
man, you're the guest, bro.
All right, Dakota, what you got? Top
five.
So
going off Dale Tanhardt, we're doing past and present, just period in points of time races.
No, just like what fucking race you want to go to. I'm not saying like your 1996 was your favorite race of all time.
Okay,
I'm saying
we were doing
right
races
now,
that you should
God
go
damn it, Dakota. Right now, I'm going to give you 5 tickets to any race. What do you want to go to?
That any fan should go to? All right.
No, that you would. God damn it.
That I would go to.
Dale, you see what I deal with?
No, because we did races to go to, not races we want to go to.
Your 5 favorite fucking races. How is this?
Number 5, Fall Dega. If you haven't been there, it's a good warm up to something coming up later in my lineup. Fall Dega is a must do. It's a good atmosphere. It's a little chilly at night. It feels good in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get the same buzz. You're going to have a great time. It's Dega, baby. Number 4, Throwback Weekend. They just switched it up. Southern 500's in the fall now.
Right.
Throwback Weekend in the spring's a little fucked up. But
okay, for that you can say like the one that you used to go to. That's fine.
Okay, Throwback Southern 500 was a fucking thing.
Because they changed it. Yeah.
It's kind of confusing, but it was a whole thing when it was the Southern 500 Throwback. Darlington. It's a whole atmosphere. Everybody's going with the theme. It's fun as fuck. Darlington, baby. Number 3, Daytona 500. Daytona 500 is fucking electric. It's the Super Bowl. If you have not been, I recommend you get there because when pre-COVID, the Daytona 500 was just the Super Bowl, dude. It is electric. The stands are filled. You can just hear a pin drop. It's fucking awesome. Daytona 500. Number 2.
I'm an idiot. I've been to the Daytona 500, and I 100% would have put that in my top 5.
You left that off your.
I literally went this year.
That's where I met you at Daytona. Daytona 500, number 3. Number 2, Bristol Night Race, baby. If you haven't been to Bristol, I also recommend. It is a must-go-to bucket list item. The Bristol Night Race is its whole thing, just like I said, the Daytona 500. Short track racing, Saturday night. It's Bristol. If you haven't seen it, you don't understand. It's so small and fucking awesome. I love Bristol, baby. And it does have a little bit of a party nightlife. I have a couple videos and pictures where you wouldn't think you're at a NASCAR race, but it's a fucking NASCAR race. Number 1, my all-time race. I do not miss every year. And but pre-COVID, it was fucking wild.
Yep.
Too many pictures and videos of this one. But if you are missing the Spring Dega race, you are fucking up. Because the Spring Dega race is the fucking one to go to. If you want to party, if you want to infield, if you want to camp, if you want to see boobs, if you want to do some things you've never done before.
Old titties, too. It's usually not like young. It's usually like they're in their 50s.
Dude, it is the boys' trip of boys' trip. This year was a little weird, but
it was very weird. But
Spring Dega race is the race to go to if you want to have a good-ass NASCAR weekend. That's my top 5.
I've never been to Spring Dega. I've always gone.
Well, let me tell you, next year.
Fall's still great, but
next
spring
year,
is the
you need to be at the Spring Dega race.
Yeah, spring is like the one. So I'm kind of like you, Dale. Actually, I haven't been to like a whole lot of tracks. I think probably because I grew up here in Texas. So just to leave the goddamn state in any direction, it takes me 6 fucking hours. So I mean,
Mississippi, the closest thing we have is Talladega, like 6 hours away, or Atlanta, 6 hours away. So it's tough for here. I feel you.
Oh, it's 6 hours to the fucking state line. Like,
yeah, Matt's
when I
trooper, I'm not gonna lie.
When I drove to Talladega, it was 12 hours.
Regionally, Mississippi's not favorable for racing markets.
No, Louisiana, that whole, for whatever reason, Louisiana doesn't have a.
NASCAR
anyway, that's a whole
go
other.
there and build a short track.
Louisiana.
Okay, I actually have a whole article about building a short track in Lake Charles, Louisiana, where they have all the casinos.
I hate that place. No.
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant because.
How about Biloxi, Mississippi?
No, it's too close. It's too close to Talladega for NASCAR. They would look at it and say that's too close. What you need to do is go Lake Charles because it's only an hour and a half from Houston, which Houston is like 4 hours to Dallas, so that's pretty far. And then it's right in between New Orleans and Houston. Anyway, it's a whole nother fucking topic I'll get into. All right, so but yeah, like Dale, I've only been to like 7 or 8 tracks, I think. Anyway, not a lot. So number 5, honestly, I'll do honorable mention. I know everybody hates Texas, but it is a fun track to go to. There's always a lot of people there having a good time. Maybe it's just because it's the closest track to me. But it's my honorable mention. But number 5 is the Folds of Honor 500 in Atlanta. The shirt I'm wearing. Maybe it's just because I had a good fucking time with Dakota. It was fun. It was a fun area. I think a big thing about it too was when you watch it on TV, it's never that good of a race to watch. I think we can all agree. But when you're there,
I've always liked the product Atlanta has.
Okay, well, you're one of the few.
You.
But when you go watch a race, as you know, I mean, it makes it 10 times better. So me and Dakota left the race and we're like, man, that was a badass race. Everybody online's like, that was the worst race of the year. So I think that kind of helps. Also, it's early in the season, so you kind of get to see what everybody's running. Number 4 is they're changing all the sponsors and shit now, but I don't know if it still is this. It was the Hollywood Casino 400 in Kansas. Kansas is probably the most underrated track to go to. I've also heard Michigan is underrated. Haven't been there, but I heard it's badass.
I've heard that is a great party track.
I've heard it's the Northern Talladega. That's what I've heard. It's like a Northern Talladega.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
So Kansas underrated, not for the party scene, but just like they got the strip mall there, they got the casino, all the hotels. It's kind of a bougie NASCAR experience. And one time I got really cold, left the race, but instead of leaving, I went to the casino and gambled and lost like all of my money. Had to drive back that night because I couldn't stay at the hotel because anyway, fucking awesome. I love that race. Very underrated. Number 3 is, it used to be called the Alabama 500. I think they've changed the name now, but Dega in the fall. It's like Yellowwood or something now. Fall Dega, obviously.
I always remember as a kid, the EA Sports
500.
Oh, yeah,
the Aaron's $4.99 and the EA Sports 500, man. It's so iconic, yeah.
I think the first time I went to Fall Dega, I think they called it the Alabama 500. I don't know.
I was like a 15-16 thing, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So that would make sense. That was a ruse around that time. So yeah, Fall Dega, it's badass. Obviously, it's Talladega. Everybody knows. Number 2, what it used to be, this Southern 500 throwback Labor Day weekend at Darlington. It was a combination of everything. It was the throwback weekend, the Southern 500. So historically, it's badass, and it was on Labor Day, so you get Monday off without having to take off work. It was literally where I held my bachelor party. I love that fucking race.
Dude, I get the
I love that
sponsor.
race.
I get the sponsor move, but like splitting the throwback to Southern 500 thing, I just feel like it's like disconnected, man.
I think
like,
they're just trying to like draw attention to each of them to be like, Southern 500 throwback.
Because like,
I have an issue with. I agree with you guys, and I have an issue with it too because I actually had no idea they were doing 2 Darlington races. Obviously, until the schedule came out. What the hell? Because they had to do it last year with the COVID stuff. That was the comeback race, double, whatever. They literally had a documentary on like FS1 or Speed Channel, whatever, that that talked about how Darlington lost its mojo when it went to the May race and the Southern 500. Like it used to air all the time up until like
they did like the Dodge 500 or whatever. Yeah, Dodge 500.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden they're like, actually, nah, we go back on that. No, never mind.
We mentioned this on an episode where I said, the throwback Southern 500 was such a fucking thing and a jewel that giving Darlington 2 dates almost is like you're giving us too much. Like you're getting we get 2 Darlington dates, but it's like one made it so iconic. It was a must-go-to race. Like
and especially when it's on a holiday, so like everybody can go.
Exactly.
It worked out perfect. And Dale, I know you said like you might have had a different experience. I think you did, to be honest, because when it was on that Labor Day, it was just fucking, and you went during like COVID and shit like that. I think you should probably go back at some point. I don't know if they'll ever go back to how it used to be.
The Southern 500 will be in the playoffs, which is cool, and I'm debating going, but it's not throwback. So I'm like, well, what do I do?
And it's going to be full capacity. Capacity.
Is it going to be Labor Day weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The Southern 500 is still Labor Day weekend.
I'll 100% be there. I can guarantee you right now I'm going to that.
Well, I guess we're going to Darlington.
I'll be there for sure.
All right, we're all going. This is the first time I think on an episode we've all just agreed, like no doubt, we're all going to this race. Happen. Okay, so we'll go there. We'll bring up that later. We always talk about it at the end.
Get the bus fueled up.
My number one though, obviously, is the Geico 500. I think it's still called the Geico 500 Springdega. It's the Woodstock of NASCAR. It is. Yeah, that is a great It is term, the Disney World of NASCAR. Whatever, like the pinnacle of whatever you're thinking, it is that of NASCAR. I mean, it's the best. And obviously, I left off some really good ones on my list, and that's because next week we'll be doing the bucket list, top 5 bucket list races to attend. And I got a lot of them. Honestly, that list is a lot better than my top list, which is kind of sad. So I guess just to wrap it up, we do need to do our picks for Dover.
But
this weekend, Dover. Wait, you say but first?
At the line, baby.
That's the picks that I'm fucking talking about.
Let's do it.
God damn it, Dale. Do you see what I have to deal with?
Hey, somebody's been drinking since they got off work. Leave me alone.
I'm on my 4th beer since we started recording. Catch up.
Well, I'm drinking tall boys like Dale here.
I've drank with you. I know what you can handle.
I'm all about moderation until Friday or Saturday. So
I'm not. I have a serious problem, and somebody help me.
Chase keeps his voice this weekend.
Oh my god, dude. When he woke up, dude. When he woke up on Sunday morning, he walked out and like tapped me and like woke me up because we had to get up early.
Hey, dude.
He was literally talking and nothing was coming out. Like no sound was coming out. Dude, I can't hear you. Can you not hear yourself? I was shocked.
That's when you know you've had a good weekend, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
The problem is this is like his job now. So like that's not just he has to continue doing that.
That's one thing I thought. I was like, y'all are week 1, like day 2.
Yeah. Dale goes back to like his life at work. Like Chase is like, this is my work. So like that's a lot, man. But we're coming up into Dover. Always a fun weekend. Obviously, it's interesting because, once again, this is a track. I said this last week. This is a track that we could see, Harvick gonna win. He's had 3 victories, I think, at Dover. Hamlin has a win here. Does Elliott, Chase Elliott?
Yeah, Elliott won in 2018, and I believe the playoff race.
Okay, so those are obviously the drivers that keep getting brought up every single week because it's like when are they gonna finally win?
Larson's last time here, he won here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I was gonna mention that. Obviously Larson is a dude that's just tearing it up this year. He's in the best equipment he's ever been in his entire life in NASCAR. But yeah, it's another track once again where it's like Hamlin, Elliott, definitely Harvick. They need to get a win here. Easy. But as Nathan pointed out, as our fucking Truex fan
Truex got his
pointed
first win
out,
here. He won. 2 seconds last year.
He has 3 victories here. He tears it up. So, Dale, you are the betting expert. Do you have any pointers for anybody? I know you like to sell your brain, but
So,
any free tips?
Is there
for
any
people?
any teasers you can give us?
Mhm.
well, I'm concerned about Kevin Harvick because it seems like even though his average finish this year is exceptional, considering all the shit talk, it's like 6
Right.
points. He's actually been stout.
But that just goes to show like what kind of driver Kevin Harvick is. The
Exactly.
when that's what we expect from him. It's like
Thank
Right,
you.
right.
Thank you.
The issue with Kevin is they haven't had winning speed. Yeah, he does have 3 wins here, I think, in the last like 9 races. Martin Truex is the guy that I'm keeping an eye on
For
because
sure. So
his
hot
last-
right now. He's so
his
hot.
his last 4 races, I think he has 4 top 2 finishes. I think
he has
he
3 wins.
He swept seconds last year.
And I think he finished second to Larson in 19. I could be wrong there, but he did win the spring 19 race. I
Yeah.
mean, he is so good here. And guys, I mean, he won his first race here, like you said, and that always sticks with people. And that's such a big
This in New Hampshire, like almost home for him.
right.
Well, I was gonna say, where's he from again? One of those states way up there.
Indiana, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Jersey boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm keeping my eye on Hendrick and Gibbs. Hendrick actually they did the doubleheader last year, and the results were so strange. In the first race, Joe Gibbs finished 1, 2, 3 with Hamlin, Truex. Hold on a second. Harvick won the first one. I'm sorry. I'm thinking back to 19, I think. Anyway, the first race, Hendrick really struggled, and the second race of the doubleheader, they were really strong. They had 3 guys in the top 5. And Denny Hamlin won that race. I think he stole it away from Truex there at the end because I had Truex and I was so fucking angry at that race. But the momentum that Martin Truex has, and to point out, all 3 of his wins this year have been with this aero package that's going to be at Dover, and
Right.
it's a great pack for him. It all seems like way too perfect. But Kyle Larson also really good. I mean, those
Seems
are
too perfect.
It does, and I hate that.
See,
because
too perfect means it won't happen.
I bet on Truex so many times last year, dude. Like so many times. And every time the scenario, if you follow the statistics, I cannot help like Chase when he bets. He's newer to betting than me and Chef, but when Chase bets, he calls himself the gut boy, like all these gut boy feelings.
Yeah.
I base my strategy off of what is most likely to happen at the end of the day.
No, I like the gut thing. Like, have you ever seen Moneyball?
Yeah.
Okay, you would be Jonah Hill, fat little ugly Jonah Hill, and I would be the other guys. I was gonna say Brad Pitt just because I look exactly like Brad Pitt, but the old guys that are like, he doesn't look like a baseball player, you know, like that would be me. That's how I feel about stuff. I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. The Truex thing, I agree. It's too perfect, but too perfect means it's not going to happen.
Probably so. It's tough. It's tough. But I feel like from a betting perspective, if you go with what's most likely to happen, you're going to win more than you lose. Now, I do hate betting heavy favorites. I typically don't bet super heavy favorites.
Right.
Every time that I will bet Kyle.
It's no fun. It's no fun.
Well, and the value is just not there for races are so unpredictable.
Right. The payoff isn't going to add up to what you're doing.
Kyle Larson dominated Atlanta, and what was that other race where him and Hamlin were the best 2? They gave it away to Kyle Busch. Where was that? Kansas. Dominated Kansas. Dominated Atlanta, and gives them away completely. It's so unpredictable what happens at the end of these races, and that's why I don't
bet on NASCAR, but more power to you.
I think there is a strategy though, like I said. But if we want to start talking about like a lock and
well, we'll get there. We're gonna do our locks at the end. Let's just jump right into the at the line. Dakota, you sent this out once again. You're our at the line guy. I need to build out like a little intro for like
we need like at the line and a flush across the screen.
Maybe it'll be me like saying like at the line.
Oh yeah,
something like
that sounds great. We need a guitar
with like electric
solo
guitar.
come in.
Yeah.
So, anyways, every week for our guests, we give a at the line segment where I give you 2 picks and you give me at the line who's going to beat who. So I'm going to give you 5 different choices. And starting off, I felt like I'd bring it home in the Gibbs camp. At the line, who do you have this weekend? I think you just kind of told me. Truex or Kyle Busch?
Dale, you'll go first, and then I'll take it after you for each of these.
It's so tough. Joe Gibbs has won 5 of the last 10 races here, and Hamlin.
I love the stats.
I'm a big stats guy, regardless of what I look like. I got the brains always. But
didn't you go to Mississippi State? I don't know if I trust your stats.
I did. I got to do that in 4 years.
I went. My buddy went to a community college down the road. I think y'all's degree's about the same, right?
Yeah, we'll call it kinder college. How about that?
All right, what you got? Sorry, I'll stop ripping on Mississippi State.
No, it's okay. Starkville sucks, dude. I really hate Starkville. It's so tough because, like we talked about with Truex, this is the hardest one for me by far. The hardest one. It's got to be. But I think with Kyle Busch has also been hot with a win. He was so.
He's
fast.
chugging along. He's been kind of quiet, but he's like there to strike, dude.
Man, I got to go with Truex just because of how good, just the statistics.
He's on fire, dude. He's on fire.
He's on fire. You got to expect him to be there. So I got to go Truex over KFC.
Rattlesnake?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like Dale said, it's tough because Kyle is doing well right now, and it's hard to count him out of any race when he's doing well, when he has confidence. But if I'm going to go stats, if I'm going to be a nerd like Dale, then
you're going against your gut right now. Based on you sound like you're going against your gut already based off what you said. You said you were a gut boy, and now you're going against it.
No, because my original gut when I read them without even thinking was Truex.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. So initially I was just like, because I know this is Truex's track. Like this is his track. It's his to lose, to be fair. But yeah, just when I looked at those 2 names, immediately what came to my mind was Truex because we're at Dover and he's tearing it up this year. So I'm gonna go Truex as well.
Agreed. I was taking Truex. He's so hot right now. Of course.
Yeah. Guess what Nathan? Yeah. Guess what Nathan picked. Yeah,
all right, Dale. Round 2. We going my boy Kevin Harvick or consistent Denny Hamlin?
I'm gonna take Denny Hamlin because of I say consistency. He's been up there with Harvick on consistency on average finishes.
I think he's been hasn't this consistently been. He's been more consistent, right?
I'm not exactly sure what the.
I think his average finishes.
He has as our championship points leader.
Yeah,
been
that's true.
Better.
He's the points leader without a win.
Here lately, that 4 car's been plugging along.
He doesn't have a single win, and he's still the points leader, though. That's fucking crazy.
That's consistency. Yeah, and like I said with Gibbs has been strong here pretty consistently. Harvick has too, but Stewart Haas has clearly taken a step back this year. Denny's been in the mix. I think Denny is really hungry because he's. We talk about how everybody's giving Harvick a lot of shit. Everybody's giving Denny a lot of shit because he's had winning speed multiple this year.
Right.
He's literally almost won like 3 or 4 races.
He's not finishing.
He continues to get the frame of being a choke artist.
Yeah.
So I like Denny as a good pick to win this race this weekend. So I'm taking Denny.
I can see it.
Here's the thing. I don't think he's going to win. And you can call him. And I don't think he's going to win. I don't think it's ballsy. He hasn't had a single fucking win this season. But
it's May.
That's true. But you can even call him a choke artist. I think he's proven that he does choke at the end for a lot of things.
I'll never get
But at the line is about who's going to finish better. And it's him versus Harvick. Harvick does not have equipment this year. I'm going to Hamlin. Hamlin's been so consistent to finish in the top 5. Harvick has been doing very well lately, but Hamlin could be winning the entire fucking race. And on the last lap, I don't just like let off the gas and just be like, nah, I don't want to win. I'm going to be like 3rd again.
I think Hamlin's going to click off some wins, and when he does, I think he's going to shut a lot of these haters.
I think Hamlin will get Hamlin will get 1, maybe 2 victories all season.
Wow,
straight up. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get a lot of wins. I think he is kind of a choke artist, But that being said, I think he'll finish the season probably still the points leader because he is so good and consistent that he's just going to keep getting top 5 finishes. And so for at the line, we're talking about who's finishing better. I'm going to almost always pick Hamlin. It's a safe pick.
I like
bet.
Momentum. I like Harvick's momentum though with a third or a second. He kind of lucked into his second at Kansas, but
he has been doing a lot better.
But I kind of like his momentum. I think it's going to come down to whether Denny Hamlin has a late race self-inflicted issue.
Right.
Speed and penalty.
Also, I think
tires,
Harvick's momentum right now is almost purely based on just skill and talent of driving and not Stewart Haas Racing.
He's definitely out driving his equipment. He's Kevin Harvicking the 4 car.
Exactly, which is why I can't pick him.
I don't think Stewart Haas or the 4. Let's just talk 4 team. I don't think the 4 team has took a step back. I think everybody has caught up and took a step forward. I think the 4 car is still the 4 car. I just think, I think everybody's kind of just caught up to their shit and like, hey man, we done found some new shit. And
maybe
the 4 cars, like,
I just think for whatever reason Harvick stopped cheating.
Well, just like Rodney Childers, like we've talked about before, said like, hey, in inspection they've tightened down on these
exactly
things. We're not doing those things anymore, and it's kind of like,
let's be real. Harvick was the team that would like push the boundaries of what they could get away with. Like they were notorious for that.
Well, how many times have we seen the 19 car and the 9 car fail inspection?
How many?
I honestly wish NASCAR would crank down on some of these penalties where it's like, hey, failed inspection starting at the back. I'm like, I feel like that should be like an immediate trip down pit road or some shit. Like all these teams are cheating and they're like, hey, yeah, we'll start in the back, whatever. We'll be in the second by the
I mean, that's pretty rich coming from a Harvick fan.
I agree. Harvick, send them all to hell. I don't care.
He's one of the guys that does this.
Who's your pick? Dakota?
I'm taking Harvick just because y'all chose Hamlin. I'm going to stick with my boy. Championship momentum. He can plug away on a shitty car and get that finish at the end of the day.
By the way, Dale, I forgot to mention, I don't think either nobody has gotten it 100% or nobody's taking me up on the offer. But if you get 100% of these right, I will send you a Chairgatin shirt. Whichever one you want, you can go through our merch and pick. Yeah,
solid deal. It's a solid deal.
But you got to keep up with this on your own because I never go back and look at these.
Yeah,
I will. Sometimes I explore the idea of making parlays, like matchup parlays.
Yeah,
close. I've gone 4 for 5, and I think this year I went 7 for 8, and it would have been an insane payout, but I lost.
They're fun. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. It's burning money, but it's fun. So.
All right, let's go.
All right, round 3. We have Chris Buescher, Logan Longstrong, or Bubba freaking Wallace.
You just want us to get in trouble, don't you?
The constant not argument, what's the word here? The recurring idea that Gibbs is so good here and Bubba's got that Gibbs limit. And people forget Bubba almost won an Xfinity race here back in 2015 against Buescher. Both Roush cars at the time. Chris Buescher ended up winning that race. But Bubba has never finished better than 20th at Darlington in the Cup Series. Granted, he was driving for Richard Petty, but also that car just has not had great speed this year and it's not handled well. I mean, they're just missing something, and I think it's the growing pains of a new team. On the other side, Chris Buescher and Ryan Newman have both shown excellent speed multiple times this year. Much better advanced program than what they had last year. You see sponsors jumping on with Ryan Newman. Buescher's been so solid. He finished 14th and 16th in the 2 races here last season. Like I said, he's a winner at Dover in the Xfinity Series. I'm going with Buescher. I just don't think it's close. I think Buescher is a great candidate to finish in the top 10.
Solid.
You know, I'm almost 100% going to agree with you on. I can't think of anything you said that I disagree with. Yeah, I think this one's not even close. When I saw these 2 matchups, I was like, Buescher by far. Bubba hasn't shown me anything this year. I think he has good equipment and he doesn't drive it well. I think Chris Buescher has shown me so much this year that I didn't know about him. I've heard people kind of hype him up here and there, and I've always been like, I just don't see what you're talking about. This season, I'm like, okay, he's actually driving his equipment, and I'm impressed. And as a Texan, he makes me proud because he's the only fucking Texan in the Cup Series for whatever reason. So, yeah, I agree. I could see him, contending for, right outside a top 10 finish at this track. Bubba will probably finish like 26th.
Probably. I totally
Watch.
agree
If he finishes 26th, though, come on, guys.
Hey.
I really think, I know you said you think he's just not driving well. I just think with the growing pains of a new team, I just don't think.
Have you seen him? Have you seen him in the lead in any of these races? He throws the sloppiest blocks I've ever seen. It looks like he wants to get taken out. Talladega, he was leading for a number of laps, and I'm surprised nobody took him out. Truex had to go on his radio and be like, "This dude needs to watch out." Like, he's driving like a maniac on the track. I don't think he's driving his equipment well. I think if you put Hamlin or any other talented driver in that equipment, they would be clicking off top 15s, probably a couple top 10 finishes.
Well, but Hamlin's a Hall of Famer. Bubba Wallace hasn't won a.
Okay, Austin Dillon, Tyler Reddick, Chris Buescher, William Byron, Alex Bowman.
I think those guys would run similar.
I think they would run circles around him. I don't understand. I've never understood the hype about Bubba. I've never seen him crushing it. And when people bring up like, oh, he did really well, like usually they go way down. Was he crushing it in the Xfinity? I mean, I don't think he's
proven in the trucks and in Xfinity that he can run solid and good equipment.
In the trucks he's done pretty good.
And Xfinity, he did well too. He was consistent and almost won a couple races, like I mentioned at Dover.
Almost won a couple races. Okay, so did Denny Hamlin, or not Denny Hamlin. So did Daniel Hemrick. Was he? I mean,
Hemrick's gonna win some races this year. I gotta tell you. I think
he will. I think he will get some wins in the Xfinity Series.
I mean, sure, and he's good enough to race in Xfinity, but same with Bubba. I mean, what are we talking about here? Like, let's be honest. I think Bubba and Hemrick are same level.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
We're going down some rabbit holes.
I think we'll see some speed and some better performance from Bubba this summer.
I think we'll see speed, but no better performance.
I say let's get through this year and let's see what he's got next year.
I'm willing to be proven wrong on Bubba, like I have been with. I've doubted Chris Buescher, and like I said, I'm starting to reconsider my thoughts on him. I'd love to be proven wrong, but
I think Bubba, you're totally right about Talladega. I thought Bubba ran well at Daytona, the speed week, but at Talladega, it was bizarre. He wasn't working well with his teammates at all, and they all were complaining at some point. Denny Hamlin complained, Truex complained, like you talked about. It was weird.
We mentioned this in the last episode that it might be because he's feeling the pressure now, and he's kind of a dog back into a corner kind of situation where he feels like he just has to do something. And so he's going to start to become more dangerous as a driver because he's in a do or die situation, which I mentioned before the season when he took this deal, that it was very risky and probably wasn't going to pay off.
I think hot take here before we move on. I think he runs top 5 at Daytona and is a good pick to win. I think he might win the Daytona race.
I feel like the pressure will be on, and he'll be on the outside looking in, and he'll do some dumb shit. And maybe
exactly what I was just gonna say. I think he's gonna cause the big one. I think he could be running up in the top 5 because I think he has pretty good equipment. But I agree with Dakota. I think he is feeling the pressure, and I think he's going to do something stupid and probably cause the big one there with like 10 laps to go.
Round 4. I'm done with Bubba. I'm done talking about Bubba. I'm sorry.
I know. You always want to get me in trouble with Bubba. People hate that
Bubba. All right, him. Round 4, a little Hendricks drama. Consistency on Byron or Elliott, our defending champ? Who we got?
That's another tough one.
This was a tough one. I tried
to make them spicy.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Elliott just has not had anywhere close to winning speed most of this year. It's been weird. I'll
give them. They got robbed on Daytona Road Course.
He did. He totally did. Actually, I hated that race. I lost money on that one. Don't want to talk about it. I don't know, man. Byron is on an insane streak right now, and I think he ran 5th here in that one race I talked about where I think Jimmy finished 3rd, Byron finished 4th, or Bowman finished 4th, and he finished 5th. But Bowman has had some really good runs here. Bowman's run P2 here before a couple years back. Oh, wait, my bad. We're not talking about Bowman.
I was just going to say, are we talking about Byron? Or
I always want to talk about Byron and Bowman. I feel like that's always the
I know, they're the same person.
That's always a matchup you'll see in like DraftKings and stuff.
I do the same thing
every single week. I think I'm going to go with Elliott because I'm using what's most likely to happen, whether you believe it or not. Streaks like what Byron is on are absolutely unprecedented. They really are. And if you go by averages, you would expect it to drop. You would expect it to drop at some point. I think Byron could be good. Like I said, Hendrick was really good here last year in the second race. And they've had success with, Chase Elliott won here in 18, Jimmy Johnson won here in 17. So, and that's a tough one. It's a good toss-up. I think most people will go with Byron because they want to ride the hot streak. I'm taking Elliott.
Okay. Yeah, and I just killed my last beer. So that means that the show has to wrap up soon. I'm gonna go Byron, literally because of what Dale just said. He's on a hot streak, and Elliott.
I'm taking Byron as well.
I mean, literally, if you listen to what Dale had to say, it sounds like he should pick Byron. He's like Byron's on a hot streak. Elliott doesn't have the speed. He hasn't proven anything this year. Yada yada. So I'm gonna go Byron because of all the things that Dale actually said. I think Elliott's gonna get at least 2 wins this season, but he's not there yet. It'll come this season. I just don't think it's here yet.
I think at the end of the day, I think Larson's going to outrun all of them, but because
we'll get to that because we have to do our lock of the week and wild card. I predicted William Byron's breakout season like last year, and it kind of happened, but not really. I was with you. I talked about this in our last episode. Literally the same thing was I thought last season was going to be his breakout, and now it's happening, which is great for him. I mean, I think he's proving his worth. So
Rudy Fugel is proving his worth. I'll tell you what, his crew chief that he was paired with in the series, he has been outstanding. I mean, the difference is astronomical. Even though they were a playoff team last year, he won at Daytona. But this year it's just blowing it out of the park. So, but yeah, I think you're talking about Chase Elliott, who's the defending champion. Got to turn it around somewhere.
Yeah, I think he will. He'll turn it around. All right, who do we got? Last at the line.
Ooh, our last one. I figured I'd take a little back. Christopher Bell or Austin Dillon. Well,
you son of a bitch.
Had to.
I'm going Christopher Bell because I just love his driver talent. This is the favorable aero package. He's won here twice, in I think 3 or 4 starts in the Xfinity Series, which he won in the Xfinity Series. He won just about everywhere. I mean, he was so dominant in Xfinity and trucks. He had an incredible win at the road course that nobody expected earlier this year. The raw driver talent is there. I like Austin Dillon. RCR has shown some strength this year. He kind of fell off at Darlington after a lot of people thought he'd run super well because he ran second there in the fall. But I think Austin Dillon ran top 10 in one of the races last year, top 15 in the other race. C-Bell was in totally different equipment. So I don't know that. I think I take it as a positive because he got the rookie stripes at Dover, tough racetrack. With the equipment that Bell is in and the driver talent, I think it's a no-brainer for me. Bell over Dillon.
Yeah, so Dale pretty much – I have like notes written down for all my picks, and Dale pretty much just fucking stole my notes. Like, I don't know if he can see through the screen or something. When he was talking about why he's picking Bell, I was like, God damn it. He's saying everything I fucking – yeah, I mean, he has 2 Xfinity wins here. He does well here. This season, if you look at the tracks that he's doing well at, it's this package. So – yeah, I would agree. No brainer, which is really hard for me to say as an Austin Dillon fan. I think Austin Dillon will get a victory this year. Fingers crossed. If not, he'll probably point his way into the playoffs. But this is not going to be the race. I think Christopher Bell is actually going to do really well here. I think he's we'll talk about him in a second. Dakota?
I think I'm also going to take Bell over Dillon. Dillon's been like hot or nothing. Like you don't even see him on TV. Bell is really clicking off on that 20 if he's not screwing up and wrecking it in the wall. He's in the top 6. He's got speed. I really think, like Byron is now, in a couple of years, I think Bell's going to be a huge threat in that 20.
Yeah, and I think this is a track where he really shows his skill. He's shown that he's really good at Dover. So
yeah,
that's why I was pissed when you put this into these two. I was like, God damn it. Usually I like to pick Austin Dillon, but with this one,
that's good.
I think this was the worst of the choices you gave us.
I just don't think Dillon has I just don't think RCR between Reddick and Dillon just have the muscle to compete with the Gibbs cars. I mean,
at Dover, I mean, neither of them. I don't think this is like Dover is not their track. Like Reddick's going to be good at any track where Larson's going to be good because they like to run similar. And Austin Dillon has his handful of tracks that you can expect. Dover's not going to be it for RCR. I don't think they have been doing better this year though, as you said. So. Right. To wrap it up, I like to do weekly picks for lock of the week and wild card. We'll just burn through these real quick because we've went like 30 minutes over.
Yeah, Dale, you're at our longest episode right now.
This is the longest episode by far, by the way. We usually cut it off at about an hour. So I'll just do mine real quick. Lock of the week, I have to go Martin Truex Jr. He has 3 wins here already. He is dominating wins in the season. I mean, it's almost like the perfect, disaster like for him because it seems too good to be true. So because it looks so good on paper, as I was saying earlier, he'll probably fucking wreck out in like lap 10. But
just because of you.
Right. I'm a big jinx guy, but if I got to pick a lock of the week, like it has to be Martin Truex Jr. I don't see any other driver really competing with Martin Truex Jr. right now in his equipment with his momentum at Dover. And then my wild card, actually, before you even sent me these at the lines, was Christopher Bell. Because he's done really well this season. He's in good equipment, and he has proven that he's very good at Dover. And he was at like plus 2,500. Dale, you bet a lot. You might know if that's different, but I think he was at plus 2,500. So I was like, that's would exactly be
on DraftKings, the sportsbook. He's plus 2,500 to win.
Yeah, so I was like, that would be a good wild card of like a guy that he's probably right around like Austin Dillon or something, and I think he's probably a good pick. Dale, what do you got?
I'm on the C-Bell train with you. And we're talking about locks. I'll give one free pick. It's for people that are watching. It will be on my premium card.
Ooh.
It will be on my card.
Take y'all. Check in.
Christopher Bell, stay on the Bell train. Top 10. It's at minus 118, which I think is very, very good value. Absolutely.
For a top 10 finish?
Absolutely. Yeah. I
would take that.
I'm probably going to hammer it on Sunday. That's probably going to be a max bet. Like we talked about, I mean, he's in great equipment. He's had success of this track in another series. He's got 2 Dover races under his belt. And the driver talent obviously is there. I mean, I think like you said, I think he's a threat to win. You call him a wild card. I wouldn't even call him a wild card. I think with the equipment I think he could easily run top 5, maybe top 3, and be considered.
And to be fair, I only said wild card because I was looking up odds and it said plus 2,500, and I was like, I don't know why. What?
Crazy underdog.
Right. So
for my wild card pick, we talked about it earlier in the show. I really like Chris Buescher on DraftKings Sportsbook. He's plus 400.
That's a good one.
Top 10. I think that's pretty insane value considering he's had some really strong runs. Homestead was an insane run where he dominated the whole first stage of the race. I know it's a totally different track, but it really speaks volumes on how the program of Roush has added a lot compared to 2020 and certainly 2019. So, and he has good momentum. I think he ran 9th at Darlington last week. Newman ran 10th.
This is the year of the Bush.
Roush is moving. Just in general, Roush is moving in the right direction, I think. So Chris Buescher, top 10, plus 400. He's plus I think he's 3,000 for like a top 3 or something. He's like plus 15,000 to win.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say for Chris
like,
Buescher for a W, I'm sure it's just insane.
And it could and it's crazy, but I really think based off their speed, I mean, we've seen some surprises like Daniel.
He might get a win this year. Yeah.
Daniel Suarez dominating the Bristol Dirt. No one saw that coming. Chris Buescher had a hot rod for the first half of the race at Homestead. We're going to see – I think we'll see more like that with unpredictability of no practice, no qualifying. Because you got talented engineers on every team except Quinn Half and Rick Ware that can have a car unloaded fast.
Right.
You know? So I like Chris Buescher as just a very high value or a low value play, I guess, is what you would call him. Plus 400 for a top 10 is my favorite.
Hey, I like those odds.
All right, Dakota, what do you got?
My main pick, I'm taking Kyle Larson. He won here last time he was here. The 5 is hot. Can you not pick him almost every other week? Ooh, and a not so, mentionable wild horse, I'm taking Tyler Reddick. The boy's hot. I will take him in any car you have to handle, any wild track. I'm taking Tyler Reddick.
Has he ever got a win at this race? That's a fucking
Kyle Larson?
No, Tyler Reddick.
No, I said it was my wild card.
Reddick, I don't believe won here.
Those were terrible picks. Anyway,
okay. Go
Dale, thanks for coming on. We had a great time. This is the longest episode we've done, so congratulations.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I don't know if I should say congratulations or sorry, but yeah, this is the longest episode.
And you found out. I mean, I don't know how much you guys knew about me on a statistical basis or how much I keep up with, but I could talk NASCAR for way too long.
Right.
I can tell you guys are the exact same way. So
yeah,
I really appreciate it. I had a great time. It's always fun to talk about. The most favorite, my most favorite thing in life, which is NASCAR. So,
and next weekend I'll see you in Austin.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah,
absolutely, brother.
All right, man. Take care. Peace.
Hey,
thank y'all.
See y'all.